Let's go.
Hey everyone, I'm MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit that notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about the brand new PlayStation 5 video game, Concord. Concord is a video game that has been in development hell since 2016. Concord is a video game with a budget of around $100 million to $250 million. Concord is a video game that was supposed to rival the video game Overwatch, actually. And this game was released around roughly about a week or two ago, and then it was announced today on PlayStation's blog, because who the hell reads blog posts anymore, that they are pulling this game entirely, both digitally and physically from stores. They even said they are going to be refunding everybody who bought the game digitally, and if you bought the game physically from a retailer, to go to the retailer and get a refund for the game. Now, that's going to be pretty problematic if you bought this game from a GameStop, because we know that if you buy a game at full price from GameStop and you try to, go in for a refund or trade it in, you're not going to be getting a full refund exactly. So how did we get to this point where this game is going to go down as one of the biggest flops in video game history? Well, there's a lot to explain here, right? So I've been playing video games quite literally ever since I was a little kid. And I didn't know about all this video game drama for a very, very long time. And it's only just been more amplified recently, right? Where you have people that are working on these games that blatantly do not like gamers. I have seen many tweets where people blatantly state out of their own mouth they do not like gamers at all. And then you must ask yourself, why are these game companies hiring people that do not like gamers? And then these people make video games nobody wants, and then they're somewhat confused that nobody buys them. It's actually just the craziest shit in this world, right? So before I go over the main, meat and potatoes of the video, I must show you guys the amount of just disrespect these people have for gamers in general, right? So I saw this post right here, and it says, wow, dev for Concord refers to gamers as talentless freaks. Definitely a game for the ages right here. And then if you actually go to the tweet itself, which I'm going to go to right here, you can tell the post is obviously removed, right? So this person made this post and all this yada yada bullshit. And then right here, it's right here where it says, I'm so sorry, this has to be your first. I do not believe it is you or any of the other devs' fault that this game has performed so poorly. I can tell that a lot of effort was put into completing this game. It just came at the wrong time and genre. Even that's bullshit. Because if this game had actually had trailers that basically showed people it was going to be a good game that you would want to invest money into and play it, that would have happened. Let's just be completely honest here. Nobody wanted this game. Nobody actually really played it, even if you look at the all-time peak numbers for it, right? So then you have this person who says, I don't really care. Oh, well, you should care because you're now unemployed. Better go to the unemployment line and start filling out that fucking paper. It was a huge labor from a lot of insanely talented people making an awesome game. Why would I care about a bunch of talentless freaks hating on it? Those talentless freaks are the ones with the money to purchase the game. And I'm glad they didn't, because I would not want to put money into that fucking loser's pocket. I'm sure having fun playing it. Oh, of course you would. You're the one who made it, so obviously you're not biased at all, am I right? And I wouldn't trade it for anything. He says, talentless freaks, I actually came to drop some positive criticism, but get fucked. Clearly based on the game, you're the one with no talent. Yeah. You have people that are in charge of making these games. people that work at the game studios that do not like gamers. There's plenty of tweets like this, plenty of them. They do not like you if you are a gamer. I'm not saying this for every person at these video game studios, I'm not, but it's always so apparent when they post stuff like that, and then they have to delete it actually always afterwards because they know they just gave the game away. Grums had a tweet right here, and it basically just showed like the player peak at certain points earlier this week actually. Mainstream journalists at Forbes and Verge being horribly confused by Concord's numbers is the funniest thing to watch. I'll break it down for them. It's all about the horrible character designs that pander to a certain non-existent audience. A hero shooter and dies on the strength of its character's designs and how popular they are with gamers and the Rule 34 crowd. It's what distinguishes one from the other in a genre that is largely the same. Concord, by all accounts, has solid, decent gameplay, but they went out of their way to have the most generic, modern, safe, and excessively pandering character designs. The myth is that everyone wants these new character designs, that they will be more inclusive and draw new audiences to your game. Concord was the litmus test. It's the absolute proof that this doesn't work and in fact does the opposite. The gameplay is fine, but the characters made everyone yawn or turn them away entirely. Yep, I agree. And then right here, this guy was responding to somebody else actually, and he said, no, people just don't want to play this garbage. Wake up, the world is not like you believe. People don't like forced diversity and racist propaganda that woke people push. Yep, and you can just easily see these people are just so beyond stupid. So right here, this guy named Tom Warren says, is the Steam DB data for Concord broken? Surely there are more than 500 people playing it on Steam right now. Yeah. Nope, it's not broken. It's working perfectly fine right here. Then you can basically see, you can compare that game to all the other games that launched, and it just has way more people, you know? And then, right after this, I'm going to show you guys this tweet right here. So it all starts, let me see if I have the right ones. Okay, so it starts up here. So right here, you can see what Paul Tassi says, where he says, okay, I just got out of a movie, and like, there's no way this is right? I am not trying to be mean. It genuinely doesn't make sense to be this low. I've never seen anything like this. These people just live in delusion and they live under a rock. No, you are not entitled to people's money or an audience. Make something people want and then they'll play it. Here was the next image right here. That one I just showed you guys down there. He had this conversation with someone right here. I knew this wouldn't go well. Well, that's for sure. But this is legitimately weird. Suicide Squad launched with 20 times as many players. Yes, because even though nobody really played that game either, Suicide Squad is at least linked to DC, and that has big pull no matter really what it is. So it's gonna always have 20 times more because it's either Marvel or DC. That should just go without saying. Gene Park says, I'm actually wondering if there's something else going on. No, there's not. Nobody wanted to play it or buy it or purchase it. That's it. You know? The timing is weird too. Like it peaked early afternoon and didn't even add a couple hundred players after work and school in America. I don't get it. Nobody wanted to play it. Like that's the peak of that audience, that modern audience people, these companies keep like basically virtue signaling for. They don't exist. And if they did exist, they're probably broke and not interested anyway, and they're too busy screaming about it on Twitter. And this is another just like record of bullshit that these people try to push onto you for this modern audience myth that just doesn't exist. It's straight up just a unicorn. Heck, a month, and this came from Romantic Egotist. He says, heck of a month for modern audiences. Acolyte, canceled after one season. Borderlands, one of the biggest bombs in movie history. Concord, peak player count 697. Dustborn, peak player count 83. Yes, and I'll have a video coming out about Dustborn very, very soon. This audience does not exist. Yes, people are still so stupid, and they'd rather just put their heads in the sand than acknowledge that nobody went and watched The Acolyte or Borderlands, and they just basically put their heads in the sand, and if you basically say anything that challenges that narrative, you're just a bigot, racist, homophobe, Nazi, Trump supporter, all that bullshit, right? And most of this information comes from the media companies that they tell you to believe. Keep in mind this, Deadline is the one that reported The Acolyte was going to get canceled first. They basically put it in as easy as layman terms as possible, right? The Acolyte got canceled because of low viewership. The amount of people that started out watching it, which was already like low in general and barely scraped the Nielsen ratings, dropped off a cliff after the first 2 episodes. So that would imply that it's a writing issue. People checked out the first 2 episodes and completely checked out afterwards. And then the remainder of those people, the small amount that already was there, came back to watch the season finale. And that was so much more less than what the show had initially started with. That's why they canceled it. But on Twitter, these fucking freaks would tell you, oh, the Acolyte was canceled because of like chuds and bigots and all this other bullshit. And it's like, no, the fucking media people you tell us to believe told you that's why it got canceled. Nope, this modern audience unicorn doesn't exist. And the people that beg for this stuff don't watch it or purchase it. They're not actually fans of this stuff at all. So then we have this right here, this post from the Bugle Daily. Message to game developers. Gamers will not put up with or support your stupid shit. Yes, Dustborn is another example of this that I'll do a video on later. The male feminist and pronouns in bio audience will not be enough to sustain your business. Yes, because that audience is so busy, which is autistically screeching on Twitter. Look at this shit. This is ugly. This is terrible, actually. And I saw this on PlayStation, I think, yeah, it'd be like PlayStation's YouTube account. I saw the gameplay trailer for it, and this is kind of what I was like, damn, man, no, that's just not it. Then Vera Dark responded to this tweet from this guy named Christopher Dream. He says, Dear fanboys, when a game on the console you don't own doesn't do well, whether it's Concord or Hellblade or NES World Champions, it's not a win for you. Nobody won. Actually, that's the same bullshit that Nadeshot tried saying a while ago. Actually, it is a win. Look at it this way. This will teach all these companies, the ones that produce all this bullshit, horseshit games, movies, television, no matter what it is, make shit people actually want to pay for and are actually going to watch, then it will work. Now, keep in mind, that's a crazy concept for people to understand and grasp in their own brains. But listen to what I just said. These properties, these games, these movies, these TV shows failing, prove something. It does prove that people don't like that shit and they will not watch. People gotta factor in, not a lot of people have platforms to the point where they can just like voice their concerns. That's why they naturally gravitate to YouTube channels or other content creators with similar viewpoints. I'm not saying you even agree with everything that person even says, but you gravitate together because you agree on some fundamental level, we're not supporting this, and this is just not what gaming and movies and television should be like, right? And it is a win because it teaches these companies, hey, audiences, just the ones that should be your target audience, other than that mythical unicorn modern audience that doesn't support shit, people that are actually fans of this stuff will not just support anything. Because that's where these companies really started faltering, is because back in the day, things would just do well just because that was kind of like all we had, right? But now things have changed. A lot of that audience that grew up with that stuff have gotten older, perspectives have changed, and people kind of can see the bullshit through a lot of these companies, right? You aren't just guaranteed money anymore like movies and television used to have back in the day. It's just not going to be that way anymore. That's why people are so skeptical on predicting for box office now, because you're just not even guaranteed even break even anymore. So this will show these companies, make stuff people want, stop gender swapping, stop race swapping, and then you will have a sellable product. Now, to be fair, it still depends on the open market. The audience gets to decide what makes the money, right? But at least if you didn't do that, you would have a much better shot than if you did do that, right? She responds, Dear activists, when a game doesn't do very well, whether it's Concord or Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, because it's got so many problems like clunky gameplay, awful character designs, cringe backstories, and outdated monetization systems, then it's abandoned. It's a win for us. Gamers won. Yes. Chaotic Nerd says, gamers spoke and their voices were heard, and that's all that matters. Activists should really learn that. Being a gamer always comes first before their politics. If they all lose their jobs, I could not care less. They insulted us, called us all kinds of nasty names, and now they have the gall to ask for sympathy. Gamers won, you guys lost, end of story. Yeah, that's true. All of that's just true. These people will blatantly just say how much they don't like you, and then want to basically go on Twitter and throw this pity party. Oh, why didn't you guys go and support? Make so many people are interested in, they don't support it. So then the PlayStation Twitter account they actually put out this post, which was an important update on Concord from Firewalk Studios. And guess what they did? They locked down replies. That's all these guys do. Whenever they make a bad decision, and you even in your brain know it's going to be a bad decision, then when push comes to shove, and you know it's going to fall apart from the company that made it, they always lock down replies. I do have respect for other companies that fail and don't lock their replies, but PlayStation, oh my god, you lock down your replies. They even pulled that, oh my goodness. Remember that Helldivers 2 bullshit they tried just a few months ago? Yeah, this company is just so fucking stupid. Oh my goodness, just L after L after L. Remember earlier, before the Helldivers 2 situation, the massive layouts coming from PlayStation or Sony in general? Yeah, not good, right? So I went and checked some of the quote tweets because the only way to look at the comments is to just hit the view quotes on the post right there. Cayman says, when you spend $200 million and divert resources from other studios, including shutting down one of your most iconic studios to chase the live service bandwagon, jump out with your golden parachute just before releasing the biggest bomb in gaming history. Yep. You could have made a new Killzone game with solid multiplayer offering instead of this. Yep. Crazy. They could have made so many other games. They could have invested all that money into plenty of other games, actually, but they chose to invest it in an Overwatch style clone in a genre. Not only that it's just saturated, but people that kind of play those games are already settled in those games. Making another one is just like, why would they choose that one over the ones they've already been playing, right? So the comments here are basically just roasting them. You know, Tombstone memes right here, Joe Biden memes right here. This is the biggest flop in PlayStation history, going offline, and they're refunding the game. I hope Firewalk gets another chance. They're not. They're not at all. It's over. It's over, guys. Yeah, everyone's just. Vex Electronica says Concord is getting taken offline, removed from stores, and will begin processing refunds at the end of this week, so Firewalk Studios can explore better options. Well, there's the confirmation. 8 years to create this game, and it doesn't even last a month. Money well spent, Sony. Gamers warned you, you didn't listen, and now you have to take a giant L. It'd be funny if it weren't so pathetic. Ah, well, I'll laugh anyway. That's that was what Joker said to Bruce in Batman, Beyond Return of the Joker, actually. Oh, Lord. It's just so fun. Like, yeah, it does suck, people being out of a job. It really does. But the thing here is, that's just kind of how it works, you know? This was never going to do well. Like, have you guys seen that gameplay trailer? It's not that it's bad. I saw a trailer for it. It doesn't look horrible. But it's like, why am I spending my money on this? Really? Like, why would I waste money on this? There's plenty of other better games to play, right? And here is the post that we're going to be going over. Last one's from IGN, and, you know, they're just a big, giant piece of shit themselves, but, you know. Concord is suddenly getting pulled offline, with Sony promising full refunds. It launched to minuscule player numbers. PlayStation hero shooter Concord will be taken offline on September 6, 2024, and all players will receive a full refund. Sony announced today. Announced on the PlayStation blog, director Ryan Ellis said, while many qualities of the experience resonated with players, that's just such bullshit. We also recognize that other aspects of the game and our initial launch didn't land the way we intended. Concord will therefore be taken offline so Sony and developer Firewalk Studios can explore options, including those that will better reach our players. The game will be removed from sale immediately, and anyone who purchased on the PlayStation Store or PlayStation Direct will be refunded to their original payment methods. Those who purchased on Steam and the Epic Games Store will be refunded in the coming days. Physical refunds are a tad trickier, but players can check with their individual retailers to obtain a refund. Sony will presumably organize a system with them itself that allows all refunds to be processed fully. Once refunded, players will no longer have access to the game, Sony made clear. Concord pulled less than 2 weeks after launch. Concord arrived August 23rd, 2024, meaning it has been removed from sale just 11 days after launch and taken offline for all players a mere 2 weeks after. even though those who bought Concord will no longer be able to play after September 6th. Its launch was nothing short of disastrous, with analysts telling IGN that it has likely sold as few as 25,000 units. It debuted to a tragic 697 peak concurrent players on Steam, a number that made the 12,786 players of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which was dubbed a disappointment by Warner Bros. Discovery boss David Zaslav and caused a $200 million hit to revenue, look like a titan. Yes, I'll also be doing a video on the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League massive flop from Warner Brothers. Another game nobody asked for in a series that was insanely popular. This comes after 8 years of development and presumably tens of millions. That's not true. It's hundreds of millions of dollars, you fucking liars. If not hundreds of millions of dollars. Okay, they corrected it. Spent by Sony. But they posed it as a question. It's like, come on, they spent hundreds of millions of dollars on this. A company already said to be shifting gears away from a live service heavy feature. Yeah, that's the thing, is games that come out are just like trying to be the next biggest live service game or battle royale game. What about just making a game for just being a good single player experience that you could just stream if you really wanted to? But no, it's got to be some live service, microtransaction, DLC, all this bullshit with gaming now. And back in the day, it was so much more simpler. Buy a game, you put it in a console, you play it. Now you buy a game, it's buy a game, plug it into your put it in your console, make an account, DLC down the road, microtransactions. It might not even really fully work when you buy it. It might be buggy, like Star Wars Outlaw, where they had to basically tell people to delete that save file and obviously start a new one. It's like, what the hell is going on now? This is crazy. And people wonder why people choose in the gaming community to play retro games that didn't have all this bullshit. Where even now, GameStop is going to be basically, I think, opening stores or selling retro games and consoles at other locations. Gee, I wonder why that has to be a thing. I only can imagine why that has to be a thing. And even earlier this year, another thing for Sony, where there was this interview where the guy that is the head of the PlayStation department said he wants PC players to buy a PlayStation 5 because the PlayStation 5 has not sold anywhere of units compared to what they think it should have sold, and the video games on both consoles, whether it be PlayStation or Xbox, have not sold well at all to the numbers that they thought they were initially going to sell. Sony president committed to launching just 6 of 12 live service games in development, and one based on The Last of Us has already been canceled. Yeah, there was supposed to be a Last of Us live service game that got canceled as well. Good actual God, this game was a total flop. Let this just be a lesson to all these companies, whether it be Sony, PlayStation, Xbox, Microsoft, any company, even movie related to. Do not make stuff nobody wants. All that bullshit people talk about on Twitter that they say they would support, they're lying. Make stuff people will here, I'll grab my wallet. Make stuff people would actually open their wallet and pay for. That way, you don't have to basically pull games in about 2 weeks and fire everybody. This is nonsense, right? Could gaming go back to somewhat originally of what it was? You go to a fucking store, you buy a game, you put it in your console, and you play it, and then within about, let's say about a year or two, you move on to a different game, and it's just that. Now it's just all this other added extra bullshit, unfinished games getting released constantly, and it's just nonsense now. But this is not going to be the only failure that Sony has this year. They've had many failures. They were Insomniac games, which are owned by them, were hacked recently too. Just so many L's. Like the L's just keep stacking up, But yes, did any of you guys that have a PlayStation 5 or are, PlayStation enthusiasts, let's just say, were you gonna buy this game? Did you buy this game? Do you have to refund it? And boy, do I enjoy making video game videos. And yeah, I'll be doing 2 more. One about Dustborn and one about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. But yeah, gaming is just absolutely insane. That's why I game off my Nintendo Switch, actually. Gotta deal with all this bullshit. But yeah, it's actually just insane how much gaming has devolved into this madness, actually, where people that are working for the studios don't even like gamers in general, and then get actively mad when gamers don't accept their bullshit. And then gamers are the ones that get called weird, and it's like, yeah, I agree that, gamers can be kind of weird, but like, bruh, if you're making something that is basically shitting on what someone loves, like, I can understand why they would get mad. But yes, thank you guys for checking out this video. If you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit that notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. And I'm MSK, aka Master Swag King, and I'm signing out, guys. See you guys later. Deuces. Peace.